Q4097. A characteristic of the stratosphere is A. An overall decrease of temperature with an increase in altitude. B. A relatively even base altitude of approximately 35,000 feet. C. Relatively small changes in temperature with an increase in altitude. The correct answer is C. Relatively small changes in temperature with an increase in altitude. The correct characteristic of the stratosphere is C. Relatively small changes in temperature with an increase in altitude. Unlike the troposphere, which is the layer of the atmosphere closest to the Earth's surface, the stratosphere experiences a different temperature profile. In the troposphere, temperature generally decreases as altitude increases. However, in the stratosphere, temperature remains relatively constant or may even increase slightly with increasing altitude. This is due to the presence of the ozone layer, which absorbs solar radiation in the upper stratosphere, leading to a warming effect. As a result, the stratosphere exhibits a more stable temperature profile compared to the troposphere. 4154. The average height of the troposphere in the middle latitudes is A. 20,000 feet. B. 25,000 feet. C. 37,000 feet. The correct answer is C. The average height of the troposphere in the middle latitudes is approximately 37,000 feet. The troposphere is the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere, extending from the Earth's surface up to the tropopause, which marks the boundary between the troposphere and the stratosphere. The height of the troposphere can vary depending on factors such as latitude and weather conditions, but on average, it extends to around 37,000 feet, or about 11 kilometers, in the middle latitudes. 4227. Which feature is associated with the tropopause? A. Absence of wind and turbulent conditions. B. Absolute upper limit of cloud formation. C. Abrupt change in temperature lapse rate. The correct answer is C. Abrupt change in temperature lapse rate. The correct feature associated with the tropopause is C. An abrupt change in temperature lapse rate. The tropopause is the boundary between the troposphere and the stratosphere. In the troposphere, temperature generally decreases with increasing altitude, known as the lapse rate. However, at the tropopause, there is a significant change in the temperature lapse rate. Instead of continuing to decrease, the temperature stabilizes or may even start to increase with altitude in the stratosphere above the tropopause. This abrupt change in the temperature lapse rate is a characteristic feature of the tropopause. 4155. A jet stream is defined as wind of A. 30 knots or greater. B. 40 knots or greater. C. 50 knots or greater. The correct answer is C. 50 knots or greater. A jet stream is defined as wind of 50 knots or greater. A knot is a unit of speed commonly used in aviation and maritime contexts, equivalent to 1 nautical mile per hour. Jet streams are narrow bands of strong winds that occur in the upper levels of the atmosphere, typically in the troposphere. They flow from west to east in the northern hemisphere and from east to west in the southern hemisphere. Jet streams can reach speeds well above 50 knots, often exceeding 100 knots or even more. The high speeds and concentrated nature of jet streams make them significant for aviation, as they can greatly impact the speed and efficiency of aircraft traveling within or against them. 4168. The strength and location of the jet stream is normally A. Stronger and farther north in the winter. B. Weaker and farther north in the summer. C. Stronger and farther north in the summer. The correct answer is B. In mid-latitudes, wind speed in the jet stream averages considerably stronger in winter than in summer. Also, the jet shifts farther south in winter than in summer.